Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Millennial Revolt, an independent political talk show that seeks to bring a different narrative than the stale one we have going on right now in the mainstream media. So today I am going to be posting a fireside chat from Dr. Jill Stein. So this fireside chat is in reaction to President Trump's speech to Congress, as well as the election of Tom Perez to DNC chair, and she's also going to be answering questions from various people who sent them in. I started posting Dr. Jill Stein's fireside chats during the election just to get the word out of her campaign. I heavily supported her campaign on my channel and supported her candidacy as well. And I voted for her in the general election, and I would gladly do it again. Like I said, I don't support everything on her platform, but she was the best viable option for me on the left, and I think the Green Party is the great way to go for the left. They have some great ideas. They have a great platform. Some of their positions are a little far out there for me, as I've said numerous times on my channel. I am more to the center. I believe in classical liberalism as a whole. There are a lot of things on the Green Party platform that I do support. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for watching.
Good evening. Hello, Facebook friends, Americans, citizens of the planet. Welcome to tonight's fireside chat. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for standing up. Thank you for resisting. Thank you for being the new force, the new green wave for transformation. Tonight we are going to talk about Donald Trump's speech to the joint session of Congress. We're going to talk about the DNC, the Democratic National Committee election, and the aftermath of that election. And we're going to talk about the new wave of Dem exit and Green enter, and what's next for the political revolution. So please like this, share it, and post your thoughts and your questions. What did you think about Donald Trump's speech to Congress? Could you watch it? Could you bear to sit there for an hour and listen to the president's speech? What did you think about it? What are you doing to build the resistance and build the transformation? And what did you think about the results of the DNC election, where surprise, surprise, the establishment candidate again beat out the Bernie Sanders reform candidate, Keith Ellison, when Barack Obama and others endorsed Keith Ellison. Endorsed Perez. Ellison was pushed back. Again, surprise, surprise. Were you surprised? Was that what you expected? Were you hanging in there with the Democrats? Did you think they would come around? And Willie is here tonight. Let's see, is he going to be shy? He's kind of standing by, so we'll just bring him here. So in the speech to Congress, I don't know what you thought, but it kind of seemed like same old, maybe a different tone, but unfortunately the content didn't change. And some observers said it was the pivot to being presidential. Maybe if you're just looking at the demeanor and the words, and we learned that Donald Trump could read a teleprompter and actually make it through a speech. That's nice to know, but unfortunately, the content didn't change much. So there was a big focus on fear-mongering, on fear against immigrants, Muslims, fear about terrorism, and resort to militarism, that militarism is going to save us. And in fact, it's the usual disinformation. In fact, the numbers tell us that the odds of being killed by a terrorist in the United States are 6 times smaller than the odds of being struck by lightning. Or to put it another way, you're 6 times more likely to be struck by lightning than you are to be harmed by a terrorist in this country. In terms of immigrants, we saw, again, Donald Trump talking about a new plan, basically to bar immigrants, to continue his plan for deportations, and he's establishing a new agency that will keep track of violent crime committed by immigrants. In fact, immigrants and undocumented immigrants in particular, are one of the most nonviolent demographics out there. One of the sectors of the population that has the least likelihood of committing a crime or being a part of violence. So it really, this is the same old kind of fear-mongering that we've seen before. And in terms of terrorism, he's using again the terms Islamic terrorism. Apparently, even his head of national security, the new general who was brought in to replace General Flynn, recently said that you don't want to put those two words together because terrorists do not represent Islam. They represent a distortion of Islam. So this is unfair. Another thing I'll mention is that the president used tragedies to unfairly promote fear and hate. He brought in the victims of violence, tragic cases in and of themselves, people whose family members whose loved ones were murdered by undocumented immigrants, which is a horrible thing and is a tragedy for them, for the victim and for their families, but really misrepresents the threat posed by immigrants. He also brought in the wife of the Navy SEAL who was killed during the botched raid in Yemen. And it was so heart-wrenching to see the pain and the agony of the grieving widow of Ryan Owen, the Navy SEAL who was killed. But it just felt so unfair to be using the pain of these victims of grave loss and injustice to make his political points, to basically score points. So, it just felt like people were being manipulated in that speech. And this is nothing new, and this is the tactic of demagogues. That's what they do in order to drum up support to, move their political agenda. And in this case, it's an agenda of hate and fear, war, and militarism. And the speech wound its way around to celebrating militarism, to calling for even greater funding for the military. I don't know how you feel about it, but most people don't know that you're paying almost half of your income taxes for this military, which is bigger than the next 10 militaries all put together. The next 10 biggest spenders all put together. The U.S. military budget is even bigger than that. And in fact, it's more than half of our discretionary budget right now. What are we getting for it? Failed states, mass refugee migrations, and worse terrorist threats. So again, let me invite you to post your thoughts, to like this conversation, to share it, and let's get the word out that we the people have a better way forward. And in terms of Donald Trump's policies, let's just be clear. We don't have to revive pipelines. We don't need fossil fuels. We don't have to put up create a trade war and establish an import tariff, which will be very harmful to consumers and to retailers and people who need to sell things. We can have a vibrant economy right here through a green economy instead of building more pipelines and fossil fuels, we should be dismantling them and moving to 100% clean renewable energy and solving two crises with in one fell swoop, that is solving the climate crisis and solving the economic crisis. We can create the jobs we need in an emergency Green New Deal that will get us to 100% clean renewable energy by 2030. And it turns out that our health improves so much by getting rid of fossil fuels that the savings in health expenses alone is enough to actually pay the cost of the green energy transition. And when you don't need those wars for oil, we also save hundreds of billions of dollars a year in downsizing the military. So this is a win-win for our economy, for the climate, for our health, and for global peace and security. That's the direction that we want to go. After the DNC, switching gears here, after the DNC election, we're seeing again, a lot of people are saying that was the last straw, if it wasn't already, and we're seeing a big move into green campaigns, green locals. People are registering green, so I encourage you to do that. You can Google your state Green Party. You can go to gp.org, the Green Party site for the National Green Party, and check out the local Green chapter near you and get involved. We have two really exciting campaigns right now which are running in special elections. One is the campaign of Sherry Honkala, my running mate in 2012, a lifelong advocate for housing, for the poor, for food, for jobs, an incredible social justice advocate, Sherry Honkala. And you can check out her website at sherry197.com. Sherry is running for state representative because the current rep was convicted of fraud, the second Democrat in a row to be convicted of fraud in that district, and Kenneth Mejia, who is running for Congress in LA, again as a Green, and that's Mejia, M-E-J-I-A, Mejia 4, and that's the number 4, Congress.com. So let me move to your questions now, and if you haven't posted, please do. And again, please like and share and spread the word because the resistance is building, and we have a world to win back. Kimberly Bain says, I have never listened to him. I'm part of a group building the Green Party in Utah. greenpartyutah.com. Thank you, Kimberly. I totally understand where you're coming from. There's not a lot to be learned in listening to the 1% and their propaganda of powerlessness. I listen like others do because to know the arguments that we're up against is helpful. But you don't need to know that to get the word out that there is a better way forward for jobs, for healthcare, for bailing out students, for a welcoming path to citizenship. That's what we're doing as Greens, and thank you for building the Green Party in Utah. It's another sign of the times. Utah is another one of those states that didn't have a party before that's creating one now. I was just in New Hampshire last night, and a big shout out to the New Hampshire Greens, which are also in the process now of getting established. Adam Morgan says, Perez was a hatchet man against Bernie. Perez supported the TPP. Perez supported Hillary in the primary. He was part of the attack group, which aimed to scuttle Bernie's campaign for the people in order to push forward the corrupt, kleptocratic loser Hillary Clinton. He's part of the reason we lost the White House and both houses of Congress to Trump. Jeff Sessions and the Republicans, there will be no unity behind Perez. Thank you so much, Adam. Jody Peterson says, Trump's appeal to the white working class apparently is going to go unchallenged by the new DNC chair. Why don't we hear anything but crickets from the Democrats when it comes to unions? Why aren't they putting forward the Employee Free Choice Act? Absolutely, Jody. We need to be standing up and standing up strong. Same question, why did they send our jobs overseas? Why did they support the Trans-Pacific Partnership and NAFTA to start with? the truth is out about the Democrats, and it's time for us to, fish or cut bait. The Democrats have been given enough time, enough chances. Our lives are on the line. It's time to forget the lesser evil and fight for the greater good, like our lives depend on it, because in fact they do. Michael Colling says, I was hoping the Dems would have come around, but as usual they failed me. I'm sorry to hear that, Michael, and I encourage you. It's like breaking up with an abusive relationship. It can be very hard to just cut the cord and walk away. But when you do it, you discover there's a whole life out there that's worth living again. So join us and leave that dysfunctional, toxic past behind. There's a new world waiting, and we need you. Diane Lockspicer says, I will be joining the Green Party soon. I agree with the platform. I'm fed up with the DNC. You are in good company, Diane. Mike Bonavia says, how about organizing a national gathering of progressive groups and drafting a core initiative for the coming years? This is a historical chance to absorb a broader support from disenfranchised Democrats. Absolutely, Mike. There is a group right now called Left Elect, which brings together the many independent political parties. And I think the key thing is signing off and swearing off corporate contributions. To my mind, that's really what cuts the wheat from the chaff. I belong to the Green Party because it is the one national political party that has disavowed corporate money. And you probably know that was a problem at the DNC convention as well, that they refused to give up corporate money. So there are other parties out there besides the Green Party. There are the socialist parties, the progressive party, the peace and freedom parties. And we're all starting to work together through this larger group called Left Elect. We'll be having another conference. This will be our second conference. I believe it is in June. You can Google them and find out more. And I urge you, get involved with your local Green Party group, because we are now in just about every state. And we provide an umbrella and ballot access and know-how, a culture of resistance and fight back. So we can help you run for office. We can help you get organized. We can help you get on the ballot. Josh Isaac says, I think Bernie needs to break away from the Dems if we want a swift revolution, Jill. Do you agree? Or can it be done in a decentralized progressive coalition? My sense is that it certainly can't be done when you are taking corporate money, when your political party is taking corporate money. So let me also say that the more unified we are, the better. I don't think we should let names hang us up. We shouldn't let names get in the way. If we all uphold a progressive agenda, and if we all swear off corporate money, then we can work together. Let's just start working together for an agenda that puts people, planet, and peace over profit, an agenda for an America and a world that works for all of us. And there's a lot we can do on that agenda. What to do specifically depends on where you are, whether it's about fighting back against police brutality to ensure that Black Lives Matter, whether it is fighting for immigrant protection, for true sanctuary cities, for fighting back against deportations, whether it is fighting a pipeline that's coming through your community or polluting your water supply, whether it is standing up against student debt and fighting for free public higher education. All of these things really join together. They're all part of the same fight, a fight for justice, for economic, racial, social, labor justice, indigenous justice, immigrant justice. All forms of justice really flow together. If you are not working for all forms of justice, then we are divided and conquered. But there's only so much we can do as one individual. That's why we need a political party. A political party, as I learned, is essentially a coalition that's working together over time on a shared agenda. It's a coalition that really works on being a coalition, because otherwise it's hard to keep it together. That's basically what a political party is. So the minute we start building that coalition, we have started building that party. And yes, I do think Bernie needs to break away. I think, when push comes to shove, we need to start electing candidates. Greens now have over 100 candidates in local office. But these two campaigns we're working on right now, which are special elections, are breakthrough campaigns. These are drop everything campaigns. These are short, very intense, and extremely winnable. Much more winnable than your routine election, because they're small turnout, and if you organize your base, you can actually win it. So again, that's Sherry Honkala, running for state representative in Pennsylvania, and that's Sherry, Cheri, 197.com, and it's Kenneth Mejia, and that's Mejia, MEJIA, 4, Congress.com. And again, running for Congress. These are breakthrough elections. It's really critical for us to make the kind of leap forward that we really need right now. Nicholas Stoney says, what are your thoughts about draft Bernie third party? I think we can't wait for Bernie. I think we got to go ahead and build that third party. When we start making progress as a third party, when we start winning elections, then we'll bring Bernie over. It's not likely he's going to come over until that happens. So I'd say, Dem exit, Green enter, and work on Sherry and Kenneth's campaign, and we'll see Bernie come along. Mark Duchesne says, Dr. Stein, how do you get your news? How do you parse truth from propaganda? So one place to go is Green Party websites, and in particular social media. So I urge you to go to Dr. Jill Stein, Dr. Jill Stein, no period, for really filtered news that gets looked at carefully. There's a lot of independent media, which is really good, and that includes Democracy Now!, the Real News Network, the Young Turks, and others who do a really good job. Some of them don't cover third parties as much as we'd like. Some of them are constrained by Democratic donors, so you can't rely on them entirely. That's why I urge you to also go to Green Party sites. But that's a place to start. I personally watch mainstream media only to kind of keep tabs on the propaganda that's out there. But it's very dangerous and extremely misleading. It's fake news, but not in the way that Donald Trump suggests. So, he's partly right, but he's also, Fox News is its own version of that too. So I encourage you to look at independent media and follow our social media. Go to the Green News Network, in particular, what you're watching right now. Every night at 8 p.m., or most nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we bring you grassroots news. We bring you the newsmakers, the activists, the people on the front lines, the grassroots, who are really leading the charge in the most important way. So join us there. Trucido Ombra says, the need of safe, fair elections without fraud and suppression far exceed the partisan monopoly posing as a duopoly. Very well said, Trucido. We have a duopoly which unfortunately has too much in common. Militarism, the power of the bankers, the lack of support for working people, throwing working people under the bus, throwing immigrants under the bus. So yes, we need independent political parties. We need elections that we can rely on. That's why we mounted the Recount campaign, to shine a bright light on the kinds of, what shall we say, the vulnerabilities throughout our election system, including machines which are black boxes and which are an open book to machine error, human error, tampering, and malfeasance. We need to fix that. We need to ensure that everyone has a right to vote and that we end voter suppression through these awful voter ID laws that basically take away the constitutional right to vote. We got work to do there. Time just for one or two more questions here. Justin Anton says, will you keep doing these live feeds to let us in on everything? Thank you, Jill. Well, thank you, Justin. Yes, we will keep these going every Wednesday night, and you can see others just about every night of the week. So keep tuning in. Owen Schaefer says, Dr. Stein, will you call on Greens to support fairvote.org and win ranked choice voting? Maine won ranked choice for every election but U.S. president last November. And for those who don't know, ranked choice is a voting system where you go and you rank your choices. So if your number one choice loses, your vote is automatically assigned to your second choice. There's no throwing away of your vote. There's no splitting the vote. And you don't have to vote your fears. You can actually vote your values. Imagine that. Instead of going to the polls with this idea of who do I hate the most or who do I most mistrust, instead you can say, what kind of a world do I want and which candidate represents that? If we can't vote for it, we're not going to get it. So I urge you, as Owen said, check out Fair Vote. See if there is a ranked choice vote movement in your state. After Maine showed that we can do it, many other states are planning ranked choice vote referendums now, which means that you can go into the polls and not have to vote for the lesser evil. You can actually vote for the greater good and make that happen. Without fear, without intimidation, you can lead the way forward. Democracy needs that. Democracy needs a moral compass. And ranked choice voting allows us to restore that moral compass. Monica Olson says, any suggested reading material for someone who's beginning a grassroots effort to run for local office? That's a great question, Monica. We are running workshops and webinars through the Green Party. You can see that here on the Green News Network. And you can also find them through the Green Party national website, gp.org. And we will be hosting, and the Green Party will be hosting, campaign schools and candidate trainings around the country. And we will be increasingly getting these resources up for you. If you have a Green Party in your state, check with them, because the state Green Parties have representatives to the National Green Party as well. So they can also find out about these resources and help share them so that we can help you run your grassroots campaigns and take back our democracy from the bottom up. Alfonso Trujillo says, how do we spread the word about the Green Party? In every way that you can. Tell people about the Green News Network. They can come and watch this Fireside chat. They can join our webinars. They can run for office. They could get involved right now with two of our very exciting campaigns by going to those websites. And again, that is Sherry, CHERI, 197.com. You can get involved in a breathtaking, absolutely nail-biting race where Sherry has the potential to actually win this. They are door knocking. If you can go to Philadelphia, they can use your help to door knock. If you're not in Philadelphia, you can help right now by phone banking. If you're and that doesn't matter, where you are, all across the country, you can make the difference on these campaigns and get the word out. Same for Kenneth Mejia's campaign. He is running in a winnable race. There's something like 20 Democrats that are all going to be splitting the Democratic vote in their primary, which is coming up in about 3 weeks. So it'll be Kenneth Mejia running as one Green against one Republican in a Democratic district. So the Republican is not going to win it. And there are many Democrats that are going to be splitting their vote. So Kenneth has a real shot at a breakthrough. He's basically a burner who turned green, and he has a lot of grassroots support on the ground that's helping him. They're door knocking. You can join them, and you can help them by phone banking as well. And of course, for both candidates, you can send a contribution, whatever you can send. The average for Bernie was what, like 27, I think? You could send that trademark Bernie if you are a burner. You could send whatever you can afford. And for Kenneth, it's Mejia, M-E-J-I-A, 4, that's the number 4, Congress.com. Both of those really exciting campaigns. This is the breakthrough moment, and please do join in. Next week, I will be in California. A week from tonight, I will be at Humboldt State University in Humboldt County in Arcata, and join me if you can. I will be with Mel Figueroa, who is again doing the backroom work tonight, and a big shout out and thank you to Mel. You can come out and meet Mel at Humboldt State. Oh, actually, I am now thinking Mel may not be joining us until we're down in the Bay Area, so you won't meet her. But David Cobb will be there, however. So come on out and meet David Cobb, who was our presidential candidate in 2004 and who managed our campaign as well. So we'll be at Humboldt State, and then we will be working our way down. So please come out and join us. You can check that schedule on our Facebook page and also on the website, jill2016.com. So again, thank you all so much. Keep the faith, stay strong, keep fighting, forget the lesser evil, and fight for that greater good. Biggest way people give up power, as Alice Walker said, is by not knowing we have it to start with. We've got it. We're not going to forget that, and we're not going away. We're here for the long haul. Join us, and together we are unstoppable. Good night. Take care.